Welcome back. There's a hurricane coming through. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Think Different podcast, as I will be in a torrential downpour in Florida. Hurricane proportions, but don't worry, we're still bringing you the podcast every Friday. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Will TLD Vafidas. That's right, everyone now knows the middle name. And of course, we all know Vacation Tim.
Hello, everybody. Yep. I'm not on vacation.
Why don't you discuss the amazingness that I told you about on your trip? You went to Hershey Park.
Oh my God, yeah. Will recommended Chocolate Avenue Grill. He wrote a Yelp review, and he sent me the Yelp review, and it was just wonderful. I mean, I ordered the special, so the red snapper was a special for the night. It was over jasmine rice with some corn and tomato, and my girlfriend ordered homemade spaghetti and meatballs, and it was delicious. We got a little bruschetta before it, and my girlfriend has actually never tried Brussels sprouts, so I had Brussels sprouts come out as well, and she loved them. And we had really good sangria. The seasonal sangria of the night was strawberry mango, and it was phenomenal. Oh, no, I'm sorry, strawberry watermelon. It was phenomenal. We had 2 of them each, and then we topped it off.
Big spender. Look at this big spender.
Then we topped it off going back to Disney. Going back to Hershey and getting ice cream in Hershey.
You know, honestly, Hershey has really good prices there. If you ever go
fantastic.
there, they're very fair.
Very fair.
You know,
That's
it's
why
surprising.
I go back every year.
Yeah, we had a good time. We went there for our anniversary last year. That's why I recommended it.
It was perfect.
I had a really good time during the Christmas time. It was really, really fun. It rained out, so we couldn't go in the theme park, but we did enjoy the Chocolate World, and it's amazing. So if you ever get a chance to go to Hershey Park, I recommend it, especially the Chocolate Grill. That place is really, really great.
Yeah,
and it's run by Greeks.
Oh, is it? Nice.
Oh, yeah. Opa!
And it was just really easy to go to. It was literally a 4-minute drive from Hershey Park. You can see Hershey Park from the restaurant. So,
absolutely.
It was cool.
Yes.
So
all right.
you.
Well, that was... Yeah, you're welcome. No problem, Tim. I'm here to make Tim's vacation great. But guess what? Tim is staying home this week because I'm going to Florida for the next week and a half.
A role reversal.
I'm going to be in Daytona Beach. Yep, I'm going to be in Daytona Beach to see my parents-in-law. We're going to bring the dog down. And then I'm going to Disney for a couple days because it's only an hour and a half drive from Daytona, believe it or not. So it's not really not that far to go there. But we're going to be in the midst of a terrible hurricane. So looking forward to that. But the positive part about this is that we have a winner.
We have a winner.
That's right. If you didn't listen in last week, then you missed out because we gave a $10 iTunes gift card away for someone who left a review and sent us an email about the review. And we had a great review by one of our special. What's the name we're gonna call it? The Think Differenters.
Yeah, like the Differenters.
The Differenter universe out there. And he wrote a really great review, and we really want to thank Nick.
Yeah, Nick.
Yeah, let's actually read it.
So Nick wrote, the headline was great podcast, 5-star review. Really enjoying this podcast. As an Apple product user, it's great to hear different tips and insight as to how to use my products. This podcast covers a lot of different topics about Apple, so you never get bored. Would definitely recommend listening. We recommend listening too, Nick.
That's right. Thank you, Nick. So we will be sending you a code for a $10 iTunes gift card. But don't worry, we got more because I got another one for you. So all you have to do is add us on Twitter. And that's it.
That's so easy.
And retweet this episode out. That's all you got to do. So episode 8, retweet this episode out on our Twitter page. That is at Think Different Pod. And if you do that, and again, send us that screenshot, you will get a $10 iTunes gift card. It's that easy. I made it even easier. So join us on the Twitter page. We are always putting out new articles every day.
Yep.
All right, let's now go into the news.
The news.
Breaking news.
All right, here we got what we got here. We got everything we know about the giant new MacBook Pro that Apple is expected to release this year. So it's actually supposed to be a 16-inch screen this fall. From multiple reports, as reported, this will be the largest laptop that Apple has sold in years. It would likely be very expensive and probably would come with a new macOS Catalina as well as new recent hardware features. So they are projecting their estimation of about around $3,000 to start for the base model, but it'll have a very similar build to the current 15-inch model, and it has better resolution apparently, allegedly. This is all rumors, nothing's announced. These are all speculation of what's going to happen. But yeah, I mean, they used to have the 17-inch model. They scaled down to the 15-inch, and now they're going back.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, they have to do something about this MacBook Pro that's different than any other Mac they have. So here's the best example. Give us the customization that the Mac Pro has. Now I know that requires a lot of different style logic boards, because likely they're going to have to connect a lot of logic boards. I mean, right now, the way these 15 inches are built, the USB-C ports are completely separate from the board, so they can be separated without them.
Oh.
Oh, okay. Tim doesn't know that. That's right. I forgot Tim was in the room, but he wasn't in the room. So
yeah, exactly.
But yeah, the USB-C ports are actually all separated as parts. Now, that doesn't mean that the board doesn't cause no power to them, but, most of the time, I'll be honest, when the USB-Cs weren't working, we would change those ports and they worked. So they're actually a lot better than they used to be. But I would like customization. I would like the idea of having a touch bar or not having a touch bar, having USB-A on one side, maybe USB-C on the other. A lot more customization like the Mac Pro. Even though that's going to be a permanent look for it, I at least have the option to build the computer the way I want it, and I'm not restricted to things.
Yeah, and the caveat of that, I was listening to the radio this morning, because who listens to the radio anymore, right? And there was an ad that came out, and it was obviously one of those like jab ads where it's like, oh, the Microsoft Surface Pro is better than the MacBook because X, Y, and Z. And one of the things was, oh, can you touch your MacBook Pro's screen? No, but my Microsoft Pro can. It was something like that.
Right.
That's never going to be a feature. It's something that Steve Jobs said, well, if you're going to touch your computer, buy an iPad. So I don't believe that will ever be a feature. It's never going to be a product differentiator to compare to the Surface Pro to a MacBook because of the touchscreen ability and be able to use a stylus and stuff like that. Buy an iPad. Don't buy a MacBook if you want that capability. But I just want to point that out. That's never going to be a future.
It's interesting too. Where I work, we do have the feature where it's a laptop and a touchscreen. A lot of people, in fact, I don't remember one person touching the screen. Like, it's just like people just like the feel of a laptop. That's just the idea of it. You forget sometimes that like the Dell products that we use can touch the screen, and I've used it before. I'm not gonna lie, I have, but I'll be honest, I'm very rarely doing that. So all I ask for from Apple with the 16-inch, give us more options.
Here's everything we know about Mario Kart Tour, the huge new game coming to smartphones in September. Again, the game is called Mario Kart Tour. So it was originally planned for an early 2019 launch, but now the game was delayed for a few different reasons, so now it's being scheduled to arrive on September 25th. The great thing about this is the application is free.
Wow.
So you'll be able to download it. There's caveats to it being free and not free, and benefits and not benefits to that. But apparently it's going to be very similar to how the Mario Kart is played on like the Nintendo platform. So it's going to have the couple cool quirks like that, but it is kind of like a spin-off game, very similar to the other Super Mario Run and Mario Kart Arcade.
Yeah, what's your favorite Mario Kart game? Did you ever play Mario Kart when you were younger?
Oh, it's got to be Double Dash, dude.
Double Dash, yeah. I remember the one reason I liked Double Dash was the battle levels were really good. That was one of the big reasons why Double Dash is so good for that. But honestly, when the first one was great, but then, and the only reason why I liked the first one really well is because that was the first time all the characters came together in a game. I don't remember like a game before that. And then on the 64, forget it. That was just like so much fun to play. But Double Dash is definitely my favorite. I just got the new one now, and it's okay. I feel like it's fine, but it's not like it definitely like Double Dash still is my favorite. But this is great. I've been waiting for a Mario game, a true Mario game, to come to and port it over to iOS, and this will be available on Android for all you Samsung users. So
it will be cool, very cool.
Yeah, so this is really good for them. This is something they should have done. This is like 5 years late, to be honest. They should have done this a long time ago.
I agree.
They came out with that one game where it was like, what was it like? It was almost like
Super Mario Run.
Mitmojo, yeah. Mitmoto?
Never even heard of it.
Yeah, it was like the first game they developed, and everyone's like, what the frick is this? Like, they didn't know what the hell it was. You know, but they've been getting better. You know, they came out with Dr. Mario World. They came out with just that one. Now they have Mario Kart Tour. So it's getting better. And I would say the Pokemon, I guess, would count. I mean, but I don't think...
Oh, that's true. You're right.
They didn't develop that, though. But it's... I guess people could consider them kind of part of it, but I don't. I think Mario Kart Tour should do really well. I'm really looking forward to it.
And we encourage you guys... 2 new trailers released. So we encourage you to watch those. Those will be available at our website at thinkdifferentpodcast.com. Apple apologized over Siri privacy concerns, will resume grading program in fall with several changes. Apple says it will work to delete any recording which is determined to have resulted from Siri being triggered inadvertently. So a lot of contractors apparently said that Siri regularly heard confidential information while grading anonymous Siri audio samples. So that's why Apple suspended the program originally to figure out why this was happening. And now they're going to have actually a better quality program around it.
Yeah, this was related to when reading the article myself. It's basically when people accidentally triggered Siri and they were recording things that really they didn't mean to record. And then someone kind of spilled the beans who was like a contractor, and then it became a whole problem. Because now people thought, oh, well, then Apple's using this data for something. Well, yeah, I mean, that they are. I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, if I'm correct when it comes to Siri, you have the option to send it to them or you don't, as far as like the improvements.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, so you have the option to do that if you want to give that. Now, I know they're going to crack down a little bit more on that, as far as if you want to allow your conversations to be sent to them. So like right now, like I'm using the Mac, and it's asking me what apps do you want to use about, you know, it says Siri will learn from and make suggestions based on apps selected below. And this data is most likely going to Apple, and they're using it to help develop their platform. And they're even saying, hey, we'll stop listening to every single conversation, and we'll just use our technology to do a lot better job. But the reality is, you know, it's not Google, it's not Amazon. Our data is the moneymaker, you know, and that's what they use to. That's why their platform's so good, because they're just taking a lot of information from us. You know, Apple just won't do that. So I think it's good that Apple won't use contractors anymore. I think that's a big deal. They're only going to let Apple employees do it now. They don't want to have third parties involved with it, because clearly, it became a problem with this whole issue.
Yeah, it came a little out of hand.
Yep. So thanks a lot, contractors. You ruined it. Thanks a lot. All right. Well, that is it for the news this week. And next 2 weeks, guys, big news, because we know that the keynote is coming around the corner. But we thought a good segment today is for people who want to maybe join and work at Apple. And what we decided to do is that this segment next up is all about the pros and cons for working in an Apple store. All the little things that you may consider it is, and the bottom line, is the Apple Store a career choice? Let's talk about it.
Heck yes.
I was told my Apple Care.
I was told by Apple Care that I could walk in the store and get the part.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to talk the career of an Apple employee. Is it the right spot to go to if you want to make a career out of it? So right away, we're going to talk about the cons and the pros of working in this retail environment. So I'm going to start off with a con. And this is probably the biggest thing for both of us because we changed the jobs.
Yep.
And what do you think that is?
Weekends off.
Yes, Tim. That is the number one thing.
It is so nice having weekends off now.
So the con of working at an Apple store is that it's a retail store. The busiest time is on the weekends. So if you are going to go work there, you are going to have to put a request in to get off a lot. So especially if you definitely need them. I can tell you personally, one of the things that I'm going to talk about a pro in a little bit, but I also had to work another job. I had to do wedding videography on the side, on top of working as an Apple genius, and on top of that, I worked part-time 1 or 2 days, maybe 1 day, 2 days a month, with another guy that I did a post-production company for. So I was doing like 3 jobs, working to support myself, and the one thing about moving to, Sirius XM now, where I am, is that the weekends are off and I have no time to do another job. This is it. I have to work the same schedule every week, but the weekends off is the key. You can go to parties, you can go on the beach, you can do whatever you want.
Football. That was my big thing.
You can watch football. I have not been able to watch football in 11 years. I have never seen a football game in 11 years, but now I can finally watch one.
Yeah, no, it's huge. That's a big con.
Yeah, so that's a big con. So be prepared that you are going to work weekends. All right, Tim, you got one?
Yeah, I definitely got a pro. I loved being around so many people that were just hungry to learn. You don't typically go into a working environment, especially like in corporate USA, where people are kind of hungry to just outbeat you and get a position higher than you and outrank you. But it seems like in the Apple Store they always encourage learning. Everyone wanted to learn about the new thing, speculate about the new products coming out, talk with customers, learn about customers' journeys with Apple and stuff like that. So the encouragement of learning and education around the job was one of my favorite things about it, because I felt like I learned everything new about Apple, new about myself, knew about the technology industry, knew about people. It was awesome. Every day that was encouraged.
What the managers want you to do is they want you to discover what you want to accomplish. And that's the best way I think I could put it, where they would like you to know, well, what do you want to do here? What do you want to do inside of Apple? Not even in the retail store. What do you want to do in Apple? And they'll try their best to get you there, as far as they possibly can take you. So that's a great pro. But that also leads to a con. And one of the cons, I think, also working at Apple is it's very hard to get to that level. I've been in an Apple store for 11 years, and for the amount of people that went from corporate or went from retail to corporate is very small.
Yeah, it's
very, very, very small. So I could count, maybe if I have 10 fingers, which I do.
I would hope.
I could count that many people that went to a corporate, job out of the retail environment. So that to me is a little bit. So it's extremely slow. You have to understand, it's extremely slow. You are waiting for job opportunities. There has to, just like every store, you have to perform well in the store for it to grow. They just can't give a job open just because for the sake of it. You may think the Genius Bar is busy, but they need numbers to back it up in order to grow more people. So it's extremely slow, and it takes time. And if you want to go into, the possibility of going corporate, they offer opportunities to do that. But, you got to get hired from that too. And again, very rare that I saw that. So I will tell you that there is advancement within the retail store. I will absolutely agree with that. However, if you're trying to go corporate or you're trying to get to a higher level that you possibly can, it takes time. Yeah,
there's almost a ceiling in the retail store where once you reach the highest ranking position there, you kind of hit that ceiling. Really, the only next step is hopefully corporate, but that, like Will's saying, could take a long time.
Mm-hmm. And they try their best to give you opportunities to go to a corporate area, but again, it's not a permanent job. It's just an opportunity, and it's really, or experience, I would probably, is a better word of it.
You always were encouraged to express yourself. So I'm going to caveat off that in that you can wear what you would like as long as it's work appropriate. Mm-hmm. So I like wearing my Birkenstocks with socks. I'm one of those shoeby people.
Right.
So I was able to wear that at work, and that's me being comfortable. That's me being myself. I was allowed to wear shorts with Birkenstocks and socks. I mean, that's
one guy wore sandals every day, and one guy wore shorts every day. There are those certain people that did that. But you know what? That makes us look more like normal people. It doesn't look like because the moment you put on a suit and a tie and everything, you just look like a salesman. at bottom line. Yeah, so I really did like that. It was like you could buy your normal clothes, whatever you want to buy. Like me now, or you too probably, you have to wear a certain style. You know, I could wear jeans.
Like business casual, yeah.
Yeah, business casual. I'm allowed to wear jeans at work, but I have to wear a polo, you know, or a button down. You know, I have to wear something like that. And there's some days where I do wear black pants. Actually, I like black pants a little bit more, only because, especially in the summer, they flow through my pants and touch my legs.
All right, Will.
So
all right, what do you got? Pro?
I got a pro because I'm tired of being cons. You're making me sound like I hated it. So the pro, and this is probably the biggest and hardest reason to leave. What Apple gives you in benefits.
Oh, 100%, dude.
You know, there is...
like, as a part-time employee, I was always part-time.
Yeah.
I still miss the benefits.
Yeah, you got great benefits as a part-timer. And, you know, I will tell you, like, this is something they don't get enough credit for. They really don't. Yeah, you know, to me, I think what they give everybody an opportunity for, I mean, we can't dive into details of what they are. You know, if you go to their job site and you look and you apply for it, you know, you can get an idea of what they're going to give you. But they give you great stuff. And they really are, hands down, for a retail store, there's nothing better. I can't imagine anything being better than it. I really don't see a reason. You know, and if you're there for a long time like I was, you know, you get to reap those benefits even more, especially when you hit the 10-year mark. So, I mean, I'm talking stock, I'm talking 401k, I'm talking time off, you know, and that's one thing too. They were very flexible with me when it comes to my job. You know, they were very, very flexible when it came to what I did. They understood. But I've also been there for 10 years, so I could also get away with a couple things.
Yeah, you've been around the block.
So, but the benefits are amazing. You know, learn about them. You know, go on Glassdoor. Glassdoor is a great way to learn. Yeah. You know what other people did. In fact, I'm surprised I didn't go up there and actually submit something with that. But I would tell you that there are, you know, even things for my college, me going to college, me getting financial reimbursement for college. It's truly amazing stuff. Tim, what the hell are you doing?
Just playing with my wire.
You're playing with your wire? Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to know that Tim is playing with his wire while looking at me on the podcast.
You know. I don't know where I was going with that.
Yeah, unbelievable. Well, if you're done playing with your wire, do you have a con? At least a con?
Yeah, let's see.
All right, I'll give you one. All right, so I'm going to give you another con. Is if your goal is to be like a manager, that's really the only thing you could really be in the highest part of the store of. Like, that's one thing. It's one skill level, you know, or one job title. You know, I don't want to be a manager in anything ever. Like, that is not. I'm dead true. It's something I don't want to do.
Yeah.
You know, to be honest, I don't like.
Not for everybody.
It's not for everybody. It definitely isn't for me. But if you go in that store, you know, I hate to say it, the highest level you could be is a manager in there. You know, you could be a genius. Yes, that would be like the highest like part before management. But if not everyone wants to be techie like that. You know, if you want to be sales, that's great. But eventually you have to lead to a manager role. That's what it has to go to. And if you're not going to want to be a manager, then you're not going to stay there. You know, it's not going to be a career option for you.
Yeah, I guess a con that I would probably associate with is, I don't know. I liked my job so much. I mean, I honestly had nothing bad to say except that I didn't have my weekends off. But I loved being there. Well,
yeah, because you got vacation time every single weekend, so of course he was. Happy. Life. A lot of people did not get the kind of vacation that Tim got. Everybody. All right, well, let's get to the bottom line of it. So, is the Apple Store, is that a career? Can that be a career? Can you work there for the rest of your life and be happy?
Yes.
Okay.
And I say that is because it, like I said before, you kind of find your way to kind of express your passions. So, like, if you have a passion for music or photography or fitness, you know, gaming, any of these kind of passions, you kind of could turn that into your role. So like if you like photography, you can kind of transition to becoming a creative and actually sharing your photography skills and what you love to talk about, because who doesn't love to talk about their passions, every day. You can teach that to other new customers or in interested customers that want to learn more about how to use their products. So you kind of put your passion into your work. And I think that translates so easily because people love speaking with other, people that you can just feel the genuineness of the conversation about what they're speaking about or trying to talk about and stuff like that. So in that sense, if you find kind of like your niche with different arts and stuff like that, Apple could be a great career for you in a career path of teaching others. It's almost like being a teacher, but under the Apple name.
But for me, here's I'm going to kind of get on you on that. That's one job title. You're right. You're looking at a creative. I'm looking at, like, it doesn't matter if you're a specialist, if you're a genius, if you're a creative. There's many different roles within the store. Even if you want to be back, you were behind the scenes a lot for most of the time. You never said, "Oh, I want to be a genius administrator." No. You never want to say. If you want to be like a technician, if you want to be an IT guy, like genius is a good spot. And I'll be honest, that's how I got my job. That's how people found me. So here's what I'll say about it. I think Apple can be a career choice. Now, as far as pay, before we go to that, do you think the pay was fair for what we did and what we dealt with?
No.
No,
but I think any Apple employee will say that.
Yeah, I think every Apple employee will say that.
Or former Apple employee will say that.
I was there when they did a dramatic increase in pay because they wanted to keep people on board when there was a big slip in the company where people were leaving. They kind of convinced people to stay, but with a pay increase that everybody in the company got, which was nice. I think they need to do that a little more often, to be honest. Because again, it's a retail job. At the end of the day, it's a retail job. You're in a retail store, working for one of the best companies in the world, might I add. But the reality is, it's not. It can be a career, but I would say it comes with a lot of sacrifices.
Yeah, like you're working for essentially the Yankees of retail. The top of the line, you're going to get the best pay there. But again, like Will was saying, it's still retail at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I would tell you that if you ever get an opportunity to go work there, go. I absolutely would tell you. I would tell everyone to go work there. In fact, if there was a time where I was going to retire, and where my last job would be an Apple store.
A lot of people do that, though.
Yeah, we know someone that was a creative. I'm going to mention his name. I don't care. Frank. He doesn't work there anymore, but he spent his last part of his career of working at an Apple store. And me and Frank go back a long time because we were together for 10 years. He worked just as long as I did. I worked a little more. I beat him. But that's where he ended his career. And I saw myself in Frank and saying, you know what? That would be a great way to end it. Because not only are people generally like everybody there, but also the way they send you off makes you feel special. And that is something that no other store can do.
And to even go reverse of that, I almost essentially started my career, like my young professional career at the Apple store. I encourage anybody in college, I did in college, to take a part-time job at Apple because you will learn so much. You will open up doors, like Will said. He, working at Apple, opened up the door for his current position. When you look at a resume and see the name Apple on there, it turns heads.
Yes, it does.
People notice it. And me especially, putting 3 years in while I was in college and, having 3 different positions in the store as well. I didn't just stay in one position. I was at 3 different positions doing multiple responsibilities and varying responsibilities. So I differentiated myself a lot, and especially when I was applying to, full-time 9-to-5 kind of corporate jobs, and I was able to get a job very easily because I was able to talk about my experiences at Apple and how that can translate into kind of a 9 to 5 work ethic.
I mean, you deal with so many different situations there, negative, positive, team building. They literally there's everything there that you need to learn, like before you go into maybe a corporate world, is there. So, and I would say I think it's better because like when I go and I see myself in my environment now, I don't have the camaraderie that we had at that store. Like, granted, there's a lot less people, but I don't hang out with anybody. I leave at work now at my my job. I don't hang out with anybody. Now, granted, I live far away from where I am. I want to just get home sometimes because I have a long day. But it's just like, it doesn't have that, like, togetherness. Like, the last night I left Apple, was the same night the other guy, Chris, was going away to the Army, and he got married, and we all got together and went bowling that night. And that was my last night with everybody there. But there was, like a good amount of people there. There was, like, good 40 to 40 people, And that's very hard to get that many people together and just, thank you and just appreciate being everybody together. And that's something you just don't, I don't think you're going to get that with every other job, especially in a corporate environment. You're not. I don't think you will. I mean, I haven't experienced that yet, but I'm also very new. I'm only 8 months in. I've been there 11 years. So what do I know? I worked at, I would encourage any Apple employee listening to us now, change your job after a couple of years. Don't stay in the same one. You're right, Tim. Like, changing jobs was the best thing for me because being a creative for 10 years, there was no way I could deal with that, especially with the changes that were happening with it. But, I found my love to do Genius, and I wanted to learn a new skill. That's why I went to a Genius. There was no way I was going to be as good as some people there. I know that. I never will ever say I'm the best genius in a store because I know I'm not. Because people understand the console app better than me than I know it. They understand code. They understand a lot more how a computer is physically running than I do. But I learned.
For sure. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, what to kind of caveat off of what Will was saying, also the things that you learn kind of can translate into a corporate environment. So, like, they have different processes and procedures that Apple uses that's almost kind of exclusive in a sense to Apple and how they do it. Will could probably pick a few things, but you can bring that to your new job and be like, oh yeah, I mean, at my old job we used to do this. It's not like it's proprietary, it's a procedure. You can bring that to your new job and you could look like the coolest guy on the block, and you really get eyes raised from upper management about trying to increase engagement, employee engagement, or improve culture because of suggestions that you've learned and how the culture was in the Apple Store.
I can tell you right now, the one thing I brought to my job was, as it turns out, let's just say a lot of people that used to say unfortunately have changed that speech. So on that note, I'm sick as hell. So I just need to get to bed. I had to get ready to pack to go to Florida and deal with a hurricane on top of it. But I can't wait to drive. I'm going to be driving down. We're going to stop at south of the border, of course, because it is the stupidest tourist trap you could possibly see. And
it really is.
And I plan on counting every single advertisement that they plan, because they have like close to like at least 50 of them on the way down.
Wow.
So
that's a fun little game. It
is. It's a fun game. So your goal this week, if you're driving down to Florida, you are to count every south of the border sign on the way down.
I don't know if many people are going to be doing that.
Well, tell me on @ThinkDifferentPod. Remember, we do have our contest on iTunes. All you have to do is add us on the Twitter and retweet our podcast link out to everybody so everyone knows about it. And then if you are the special one, you will win a $10 gift card. All you got to do is send us a shot @ThinkDifferentPod, and you will get that $10 gift card. We'll pick your name next week. And again, congratulations to Nick, who won this week a $10 gift card. We'll be reaching out to you and giving you that code so you can now buy some iTunes stuff. But make sure you go to the Think Different Pod. Hey, I'm in the middle of the damn.
Oh, sorry.
Go to fakedifferentpodcast.com. Check us out. Check us out on our YouTube page and our Facebook page. Add us. And then make sure you subscribe and leave an iTunes review.
Cool.
Tim. Thank you, Tim. Thank you very much for the input, Tim.
You said it all, man. You left me nothing.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you very much, everybody. You have a great weekend. I will be in the Sunshine State,
where it's not really sun shining.
Where there's absolutely no sunshine for the next couple days. Take care, everyone. Peace out.
Peace out.
I said peace out before you did it.